Welcome to Earth.University's Passion Professors Podcast with your host, Earth.University co-founder and awesome Dream Momentum facilitator, Lindsay Andriotti. Here, you can learn about and connect with other passionate people who are changing the world, just like you.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Passion Professor Podcast. I'm Lindsay Andriotti, your host for Earth.University, and I have with me somebody who I would just say is one of the most amazing human beings on the planet. Kent Weed is an award-winning director and producer. He's the creator and executive producer of the 5-time Emmy-nominated hit television series American Ninja Warrior. His career spans 3 decades, and he's produced over 120 shows for 45 networks. Wow. Some of his hits include Hell's Kitchen, The Swan, Skating with Celebrities, Kitchen Nightmares, the World Music Awards, and many more. He's an environmental activist on the board of Waterkeepers. He's a triathlete, snowboarder, scuba diver, avid surfer, and a dad. Kent loves to biohack. He's found all kinds of ways to solve nutrition problems for his life, and he absolutely is one of my greatest teachers on health and nutrition I've ever known. I've had the wonderful pleasure of knowing Kent for about 2 years now, and I know him to be an amazing friend as well. Welcome to the show, Kent. You are a passion professor.
Thank you very much, Lindsay, for that lovely introduction. It was very kind of you.
You're
Glad to be
welcome.
here.
We're so glad you're here. And what I want to hear about today, and I think what our listeners are really looking forward to, is not just the Kent Weed who has the external success and all the life stuff that you've done, but you have a passion for some things that is mind-blowing to me. And so I'm not even going to spill the beans. I'm going to let you talk about your passion.
Well, thanks. I guess my passion really evolved as I grew up, and I've always been one of those people that was very driven to do the best at whatever I was doing, and that's probably instilled in me from my father when I was very young. He said, "I don't care if you grow up to be a ditch digger, just be the best ditch digger you could be." So whether I was flipping burgers at McDonald's or bagging groceries at Ralph's, I wanted to be the best at it. So, and that continued on through my life, and probably part of the reason why I've been successful in things I've done. But as I've gotten older, I've really evolved more into developing a passion for discovering myself and finding my purpose. And I really was very fortunate to find my purpose a few years ago after a long journey. And I read multiple books, took webinars, seminars, and really did a deep exploration into it. And when I came to a conclusion that my purpose was to be of service to others and to be able to inspire and help others to be their best person or their best that they could be, that's when I knew I had found it. And when I wake up every morning, my passion today is about learning. Yeah. And no matter what age you are, you can always learn something new. And with the advent of the internet and Google and these amazing webinars and seminars that are available online, the knowledge and information out there, and podcasts like yours is attainable by anybody. Yeah. And I choose to spend my time, my free time, in learning and reading, and whether it's you can read books on Audible now, so yeah. I can absorb a lot more stuff. And I've always loved to read, and I remember taking Jim Quick's course for speed reading because I wanted to read more. Yeah. And his course enabled me to read more books, in a month than I had been able to read in the past. In the past, I could read maybe 2 books in a month, and now I can read, 6 books in a month.
That's awesome.
And then there's Audible, like I said.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I love about you is that every time I talk to you, you have learned something new. And you're constantly sharing something with me. Like even just this week, it was, hey, have you seen that new meditation? That you got to try this. And then, have you read the book by so-and-so? And I'm going, man, I can't even keep up. So I'm curious, where do you find your time to keep learning? How does it work for you in a day to keep that motivation and that connection to learning going?
Yeah, it's interesting. As a dad, my primary focus right now is, especially during these times with COVID and everything, and the kids being home and not at school, it's really focused on them. So it's hard for me to schedule everything out. I used to kind of get up early and I'd meditate, and then I would put a certain amount of time for reading and learning and exercise. And now that's all thrown out the window. So I kind of just make the time whenever I get the time.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very focused and conscious on listening to the universe and looking for signs. Not looking, but being aware of signs. And
Yeah.
so things come to me. And then when I see something, I go, oh, that's something I should learn more about.
Yeah.
And so I get kind of steered in a direction that's something I need at that time. What I do know is that when I was a young, becoming a director, I was an assistant director for a while. I learned, I studied with many, many directors. I worked for many directors, very, very good directors. And I learned early on that I didn't like everything that they did, but I liked some of the things they did. So I was able to take a little bit from one director, a little bit from this director, a little bit from another director, and make myself who I was. And the stuff that applied to me and the stuff that was interesting me formed the director I became.
Cool.
And that's the same with learning and studying. You take information from all these different sources, and you take what is applicable to you, and what inspires you, and what applies to you, and you leave the rest out. And then you form your own kind of personality and your own, your beliefs are always being restructured and changing as you learn new information.
Yeah.
And that's what information is to me, is the ability to form your best life from all these masters of people out there that have amazing information.
Yeah. No, that's what I love. When we crossed paths 2.5 years ago, that was exactly where our brains were at, both of us. And as we were talking with Mind Valley, we became Mind Valley certified master trainers.
Right.
We've had experiences with the Mind Valley programs. Amazing. I mean, just truly like some of the world's best online information for self-development and growth. And what I loved was that your energy and your clarity around, I'm really here to help show people how to find their best self. Just, it resonated so much with my heart. It was incredible. And it was like, all right, he's one of my people. So one of the questions that I have for you around that is, how often do you find that other people are like you, they have that curiosity and that openness to the what's new, versus how many seem more closed off or just not even really aware that some of this new learning is available for them, not just to them? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, sure. I think that it's like anything. When you have something you're excited or passionate about, you want to share it.
Yes.
And you usually want to share it with your family first. Now, your family's not always going to be so open to hearing what you're excited about, especially if they're used to eating meat and carbs and all this stuff, and you decide you've learned all this stuff about diet and nutrition, and you want to share with them about the value of eating better and eating, avoiding sugar and dairy and wheat and meat and stuff. But what you do find is that people come to you that are needing that information. Yeah. And that's when you get to share it.
Yeah. And
they appear in your life. And those are the people that are ready for that information in their lives. When I, my personal life with my personal friends and stuff, not everybody's open to that information. They're in different places in their life. Mm-hmm. So I've learned, and it was through trial and error, I've learned that you don't force it on them. Mm-hmm. You live your life, and you just be a role model for who you are, and it works for me, and that's good. And I want to inspire others, just with the information, so it could work for them. Mm-hmm. But everybody has to choose their own path. So I never force it on anybody. I do have people that migrate into my life, and as I've evolved, I have my group of friends is changed dramatically. The people that I or my tribe, I guess, that I communicate with more and talk with more, or more of that mindset, mm-hmm. and have come into my life more and stayed in my life more.
That's cool. That's really cool. Okay, so now I know everybody out there is wondering, What's the one thing you've learned in the last, say, I don't know, since COVID-19 hit? What's one thing you've learned that you would want people to know because it was just, I don't know, something interesting to you or that was exciting? And it could be more than one. I know you've learned about 900 things. So share a couple of those things that you've learned in the last month and a half.
I think the biggest thing I learned is to slow down. Is that, we're all just running around doing our lives, and this situation caused us all, or forced us all, to slow down and spend time with family and reevaluate what we're doing, and actually have more time to do the things we always talk about doing. Now, not everybody did that. Not everybody, decided to, take up something they wanted to do or finish a project. But that was the biggest lesson for me. It was slow down. And you know what? That could continue. I was out today. I had to go run some errands and run up to our storage facility, and everybody's back up on that hustle and bustle. And it's, and I really hope and pray that, people will relish the time that they had here and see the value in it and carry that forward, because I think it's incredibly valuable. I mean, the time I've spent with my family is, I told my wife this when we were on a family walk the other night. I said, this will be one of the best times in our life. We will look back on this as one of the single best times in our lives as a family, because we got to spend time together. We got to cook and eat together, and we played games, and we walked, and we exercised together. And because we weren't filling our schedule up with all these other activities. And
Beautiful.
so I think that's the biggest value I have from that.
I love it. No, and I think that lesson is profound for so many of us to really integrate into our lives. It's the slow down. I recall hearing Michael Bernard Beckwith one time. He said, wash your bowl, digest your food. And what I really loved about that statement alone was that if we just keep eating and eating and eating, and we don't integrate the things that we're learning, the things that we're experiencing, we don't give it time to truly settle in, it just bounces off. It doesn't really accomplish what it was meant to do. So I love what you just said. It's beautiful.
It's very true. It's very true.
So, okay, well, we want to know, so if you're going to say one thing about the next thing you want to learn, is there anything on your horizon that you've got in your scopes, or are you just going to wait for it to show up and happen?
Well, there's a couple of things. A book came across. I was watching a podcast with Tom Bilyeu, and a book recommendation came on there called The Selfish Gene by Nathan Hawkins. And so I started reading that book, which is way heady. I mean, it's like, quantum.
Written by a Gemini.
Yeah, probably so. But it's, quantum thinking and Darwinism but that's how varied my tastes are. Then I'm also doing a series with Dr. Mark Hyman called The Sleep Mastery, because I have been one of those guys that has burned the candle at both ends and said, I don't need sleep. And I always joked about, you guys, all those people that sleep all day, I live more life than you because I've slept less.
Yeah.
But it turns out that I probably shortened my life by doing that. And then all those studies that have come out now that what sleep, how the benefits of sleep are numerous. So I want to become more knowledgeable about that, and I want to become a better sleeper. So
I love that. That sounds like a perfectly aligned thing to slow down. Slow down, sleep more. This is good. I'm liking your habits. These are excellent. So I'm also curious too about something. We had a chance to talk a while back about some of your favorite biohacking tools, the things that you have in your house that are just fun for biohacking. And can you just share with our listeners, like maybe one or two of those that you just go, oh yeah, I look forward to these. This is so good.
No, sure. I went on this journey when I turned 50. I wanted to come up with ways to stay younger longer, to be healthy, and to, as I had very young kids at the time. I just had my daughter was just born, and then I saw, listen, I always want to be active with them when they get older. I want to be able to play baseball and run and play tennis with them and be very active with them. So, and I want to continue surfing until you can't surf anymore. But so I started researching biohacking, and there are a number of things you can do physically, exercise-wise, at biohacks that don't tear your body down. With a lot of exercises like HIIT training, high intensity interval training. And, I used to be a triathlete, and I would run and work out 4 hours a day, and, run 5 miles a day and bike 20 miles a day and swim 3 miles a day. And these long distance things wear your body down over time. It's actually not so healthy for you, not if you want to live long and be healthy and not have stiff joints and your knees shot and stuff. So, but as far as equipment is concerned, Dave Asprey created a company called Bulletproof. And Bulletproof was originally started by a bulletproof diet, which is similar to a paleo diet, cleaning out the dairy, cleaning out the sugar, and combining foods and green carbs versus yellow carbs. But he also had a lot of products that he introduced at his biohacking conferences. One of them was a vibe plate. It's a plate that vibes at different resonances, and that you can stand on and do exercises on. It makes the exercises, your muscles develop faster by using that vibe plate.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a PEMF mat, a pulse electronic magnetic frequency mat called Beamer, BEMER. And I was introduced to that by my doctor when I did my stem cells. I did stem cell therapy. I had my stem cells taken out of my adipose. My adipose therapy it's like liposuction on your back.
Wow.
And then they re-inject the stem cells in you, and your stem cells, as you get older, your stem cells lessen. And stem cells are what keep us young. Stem cells are what regenerate. That's what regenerates in your body, regenerates your systems and stuff. So I've done that. And that's where I learned about the Beamer mat. And the Beamer mat restores your the balance, the balance in your body, because we're basically, magnetic beings.
Yeah,
and we're tied
energetic.
to the Earth. But we get out of balance, and that magnetic imbalance, we don't touch the Earth enough. We don't, it's called, a lot of people talk about grounding. You get your feet in the soil and doing that every day, the values of that. So the Beamer helps restore that. It's incredibly beneficial for when you have a sore back or you have inflammation. I let my daughter had a headache yesterday, and I gave her the strap that goes on her head, and there's like a infrared light that comes with it as well. I do infrared sauna.
Cool.
I have an LED near infrared and far infrared light panel that I stand in front of. I drink hydrogen water, hydrogen infused water. H2 gas is actually they call it H2O, and oxygen gets all the glory, but hydrogen has more benefits than oxygen. So
where do you get that? Where do you find H2 or hydrogen infused water?
There's a company called Truly, Trulli, I believe.
Okay.
And you can do H2 tablets too. You get tablets to put in your water. Cool. But you drink that, and you can never have too much H2 in your body because it's gas. It just goes out. It just gets expelled from your lungs. So you can't OD on it. It's great for the skin. It's great for your mitochondria, and just keeping it's for general health. It has lots of benefits. Those are a few. There's probably half a dozen more, but those are.
We could do an entire show on what does Kent know about biohacking. In fact, we're going to do this. I'm convinced we're doing it. So
but it works. That's the thing I could say. I mean, when I speak, I tell people it's like that I turned 60 years old, and I get up in the morning and I roll out of bed, and I don't have aches and pains. I don't have stiffness in my joints. And I really attribute it to the biohacking, to my nutrition, to my exercise. It's really attributable to a lot of different things, but it's to the practices that I've been doing for the last 10 years. So.
It's totally awesome. You're going to be Wiki Kent in the in the biohacking world. My last question for you today that I really would love to know is, what is it that you tell or encourage your kids to do to maintain this idea around learning? Never stop learning. What do you share with them? What do you tell them?
Yeah, I'm very active in their lives right now, obviously because of schooling and stuff, but I've always been, I'm the guy that they come in and they see meditating in the morning or in the afternoon, like, oh, can't bother dad, he's meditating, or they'll interrupt me anyway sometimes. But it's really about teaching them a growth mindset, teaching them, about the benefits of being positive and catching them when they say, I can't do this, and saying, well, you can't do it right now. You can, and teaching them about failure, teaching them about, that they're valuable. And it's using all the information, all the knowledge that I've gathered over the years. You mentioned Mind Valley, and Marissa Peer, one of the authors of Mind Valley, and someone that I'm a friend with, and she has something, especially for young girls and tweens and above, about writing "I am enough" on your mirror. And my daughter, on her mirror in her bathroom and in her room, has "I am enough" written on it. So
Awesome.
we're always reinforcing that, and dealing with emotions, and just in a much more aware and present manner, and really trying to be conscious of that, be a conscious parent, if you will. Dr.
Yeah.
Shefali, I'm calling you here.
You are definitely that, and you're without a doubt a role model. And I know that you're up to a whole lot of new things, so I'm really gracious that you've been able to take time to share with us and all the listeners here today. Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure.
My last question for you is really directed for you. And if you think about all the people that could listen to this eventually someday who are sharing a passion out there in the world, what is it that we could do for you? What do you need? What would be of service to Kent Weed?
Oh, I would just say that to find your purpose. I mean, I started a company called Live Your Purpose because I really think that once you find your purpose in life, then everything else becomes much easier, and you end up living a much happier life that way too. So, and there's plenty of written and visual stuff that you can find about doing that, and Earth.University is a great place to find that as well. So I really is to live a purposeful life. So that would be it. Find a way to live a purposeful life, and then you'll truly be happy.
And that would serve you. It would be really cool.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I love it because you light up just watching other people go into their purpose. It's so fabulous. Kent, how can people get a hold of you? What would be the best way for them to find you at this point?
They can reach me at kent@liveyourpurpose.com, LIVEUR, purpose.
Perfect.
URPOSE.com.
And we will put that in the description box below this audio. And for those of you who are listening out there, I hope you will take to heart Kent Weed's words of wisdom. Living a purposeful life, learn every day, and slow down just a little bit. Try to enjoy as much of this life as you've got, because you never know when it comes to an end. So thanks again, Kent. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Lindsay. So much my pleasure. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to have you. And to all of our Earth.University listeners out there, we love you. We hope that you'll also live your purpose and share it on the Passion Professors podcast at some point here in the future.
Thank you for joining us today at Earth.University, where you can find transformation education and the PhD in you. All of the information about our Passion Professor today can be found below. To connect with us, please find us on LinkedIn or at www.earth.university. Thank you for being you.